From Hollywood. Welcome to the Rat's Ass Podcast with Mojo Elliott.
All right, here we go with a jam-packed, action-packed adventure for you. And if you stick around long enough today, you're going to hear some stuff that'll make you want to go to church later. Here's what's on tap. On the Wrap, the Epstein file is really starting to heat up. We've got the latest. Are you ready for some more turd sauce from Zohran Mamdani? It's extra saucy, too. You might want to hear this. You won't believe what LA Mayor Karen Bass has done now. It's really downright disgraceful. And there's a new proposal that will allow illegals to stay in the United States. Wait till you hear this one. And is Caitlin Clark about to lose her frickin' marbles? It could happen. She's on the edge. Another round of head trauma is on the way. Today we're going to play the very popular Total Recall, plus our usual lunacy and loose behavior, including weird, wacky, and ridiculous people. That's what's coming up today on the Rat's Ass Podcast for Wednesday. It is the hump day, July 16th. Thanks for showing up. All right, before I get into the wrap, I do want to remind you that we have started a very compassionate movement called Heal America Now. You don't have to sign up for anything. You don't have to donate money, but you do have to commit to helping save the Democratic Party. You're going, say what? What'd you say? Yes, to save the Democratic Party by voting out every single Democrat at all levels of government over the next 4 years, federal, state, and city. In short, we just want to give them a timeout to allow them to go heal from their Trump derangement syndrome. We got 3.5 more years to go, so it's only going to get worse. So if we do this over the next 4 years, hopefully they'll go away, heal up, get some new ideas and some solutions as opposed to always causing problems. To me, it's the decent thing we can do for them because a sane government of a 2 or 3 party system is best for America. You can go read more about it at Rat's Ass Podcast on the blog at ratsasspodcast.com. All right, let's get into the wrap. So much to get into today because I know there are some of you who believe there is something sinister going on with this Epstein file. Now, yesterday, Jeffrey Epstein's lawyer, Alan Dershowitz, who has a good reputation, by the way, he claims there is no such thing as an Epstein client list. In full disclosure, Alan is on it, but he would be if he's a lawyer that represents him, right? But he says there is no client list. Now, this has been echoed by President Trump, Pam Bondi, Kash Patel, and Dan Bongino. Still, I know there are many of you who want Pam Bondi gone. You want a new leader of the DOJ. But you know what? Trump's behind her all the way. Here's what he said yesterday. Listen close.
No, she's given us just a very quick briefing, and in terms of the credibility of the different things that they've seen, and I would say that, these files were made up by Comey, they were made up by Obama, they were made up by the Biden, we went through years of that with the Russia hoax, with all of the different things that we had to go through. We've gone through years of it, but she's handled it very well. And it's going to be up to her. Whatever she thinks is credible, she should release.
So we're going to wait a little bit longer to see what she releases. And at that point, you can make up your mind if there is something sinister going on or not. Now, this list that's been floating around on social media for a long time, like I said on the podcast on Monday, I've seen lists where there are a huge scroll of names. And then this one that came out on Sunday, there were names missing, like Tom Hanks and Harvey Weinstein was missing. Now, Kevin Spacey tweeted this out. He X'd it out, I guess. It was on his X feed. He posted this yesterday. He said, please release the Epstein files. As you know, Kevin is on this list and has been for many years. He said, all of them, all of the files. For those of us with nothing to fear, nothing to hide, the truth can't come out soon enough. He said, I hate to make this about me, but the media already has. All right, so it'd be nice to hear other people on this list come out and say the same thing, but that's what Spacey was saying. All right, now that Zohran Mamdani is the leading candidate to become mayor of New York, we're finding out a lot more about him. Okay, we already know that he is a communist socialist. He hates capitalism and thinks there should be no billionaires. In fact, he wants to tax them down into millionaire status. Now, apparently, like all democratic socialists who bash billionaires like Bernie Sanders, they have no problem taking their money. An organization backed by George Soros, another American-hating communist, he's funneled $37 million to Mamdani through his Open Society Foundation. The Open Society Foundation. I don't know why they can't investigate that foundation. I think they'd find plenty to get George Soros on. But for some reason, in the game of politics, they don't go after George Soros, knowing what they know. But anyway, I digress because $37 million has gone to the Democratic candidate for mayor in New York City, Laron Mamdani. Now, he is positioning himself as a man of the poor. But listen to what he had to say, what he was caught saying this before the New York Democratic primary. Check this out. See if it changes your opinion.
I worked until January, and then I took time away from my job. And one of the major reasons I could do so is because I knew that if I ran out of my savings, my family would be able to support me.
Okay. He's a man of the poor, but he's a man of means. Red flag for me on that one. I think this guy's bad news. But maybe, just maybe, even though while we're trying to heal America now, maybe New York needs to suffer and set an example for the rest of America, because we can take a big old tent and wrap it around New York City. We'll find out why socialism has failed worldwide everywhere it's been tried. But this guy has a whole new idea. He thinks it'll work here. He gets 4 years, and we'll be able to observe from a distance how socialism works in New York City. And it's the biggest city, so why not put it on display? If they vote him in, it's going to be fun. It's going to be very interesting to see how many people move out of New York, how much money leaves New York City, and how many billionaires are left to tax, because there are other places where it doesn't snow, it doesn't rain, and it's a heck of a lot safer for them to leave and move to. Some people have already said that the New York real estate market is already drying up. Yesterday, somebody mentioned to me, do you think this guy, Mamdani, is the Antichrist? It's like, you know what? I got to go back and read Revelations again because, as I recall from many, many years ago in the teachings of the Bible, that the Antichrist would rise up and he would be somebody that people would follow. And this guy is being followed even though he's bad news. People seem hell-bent to just give him New York City at 33 years old. But that's another wrinkle. Told you might want to go to church after this podcast. All right, Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass was thrilled to announce that the homeless population in Los Angeles has dropped 17.5% since she took office. Now, according to journalist Kevin Dalton, who's all over this stuff with Karen Bass and slumlord Governor Gavin Newsom, he said what she failed to mention is that 12% of the decline was due to homeless people dying on the streets in L.A. But she felt she would take the whole number and take a victory lap of 17.5%, even though 12% of that number was due to death. I think that's despicable, downright disgraceful. All right, there is a bipartisan bill that's being proposed called the Dignity Act. They tried this back in 2023, but it failed, but they're going to try it again. This would allow illegals who have been in the United States for more than 5 years working and paying into the system and have no criminal record to stay. What do you think about this? Now, there is a stipulation that says they must pay a $5,000 fine to stay and a fee every single year that they stay and work in the United States, 1% of their salary. They will be offered no path to citizenship. They will have to pay for their own benefits like every American does. There will be no free lunch. Now, the reason they say we need this is that we need people to work in the construction industry, hospitality, and agriculture industries. Now, the one problem I see with this bill is there is no stipulation saying they cannot vote and they cannot be counted in the U.S. Census. Now, the reason why the Democrats opened the borders, they wanted to reshape the census in America and make it a one-party rule like California. This is a big deal with the census. It comes up again in 2030, and if they're counted, it could shift more seats to the Democrats in the Congress and Senate. That's what they're up to. Now, if they debate this thing out and the bill comes out, how would you feel about it if there is no path to citizenship? They cannot vote and not be counted in the census if they're working and paying into the system. How do you feel about that? Let us know. Send us an email at ratsasspodcast@gmail.com. Tell us what your feelings are about this Dignity Act.
He's got holes in his jocks and socks. Here is Mojo Elliott with Rat Sports.
She has finally told the truth. I love holes in my jocks and my socks. Yeah, it makes me feel experienced, I guess. All right, the Major League Baseball All-Star Game ended in a 6-6 tie after 9 innings last night, but instead of playing extra innings, the game was decided by home run derby, similar to like shootouts in hockey. Now, the Phillies' Kyle Schwarber, he smacked 3 dingers during the Derby to lead the National League to victory, and he also picked up the MVP award. You know, I got to tell you, I liked it. You know, the extra innings, it was a late game. It was after 11 o'clock on the East Coast, after 8 o'clock here. They'd played 3 hours just about. Let's get this thing over with. It's just an exhibition game. So I really have no issue with them settling the game this way. It was kind of suspenseful. I did question why American League manager Aaron Boone didn't utilize Cal Raleigh, the home run Derby king from the night before, leads the AL in home runs, and Aaron Judge, another guy you can boom. But as it turns out, Judge and Raleigh had already left the game. They left the stadium after they were taken out earlier in the game. So maybe next year the players will be required to stay for the entire game. All right, Indiana Fever star Caitlin Clark went off on a referee last night in Connecticut after he said something to her that didn't set right with her. Clark raised her finger, her index finger, and said, "Come here, I want to talk to you." Talked down to the referee. People got kind of mad at Caitlin for doing it this way. No respect for the referee. And she even threatened to report him to the league office. Whatever he said, she isn't saying and he isn't saying. But it upset her so much she went out and played, I think, extra hard, and she re-injured her groin. So now she's going to be reevaluated today. Her appearance at the three-point contest on Friday and the All-Star game on Saturday is now up in the air. Now this one is really juicy. Shaquille O'Neal, Shaq, he has threatened to punch ex-ESPN commentator Robert Griffin III, former quarterback at Washington, in the face for trying to stir up racial divide between Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark. Shaq said basically, "You know what, dude? If you keep Angel Reese's name out of your mouth." Shaq said he'd pay RG3 a visit and rearrange his mug for him. Yeah, we'll see what RG3 does. Is he going to suck it up? Keep Angel Reese out of his mouth? Can't wait to see where this one's going to go. Told you it was juicy. That's sports on the Wrap.
Rat's Ass Podcast. Head trauma.
All right, today we're playing Total Recall. This is where I test your knowledge about history. I'm going to give you 4 events, and you have to put them in the order they happened, first to last. All right, event number 1, the fall of the Berlin Wall. When did that happen? Event number 2, the Philadelphia 76ers beat the Lakers in the NBA Finals. Number 3, Platoon wins the Oscar for Best Picture. And number 4, Madonna and Sean Penn get married. All right, real quick again, the fall of the Berlin Wall, 76ers beat the Lakers in the NBA Finals, Platoon wins an Oscar for Best Picture, and Madonna and Sean Penn get married. Married? Yes, married. All right, take a while, think about it. I'll have the answer for you coming up here on the podcast.
It's time for some loose behavior on the Rat's Ass Podcast.
All right, let's do this. I always say I never say that, and I just did. All right, let's do it. Let's take care of some weird, wacky, and ridiculous people for you here. A Denver man, not a Florida man, but a Denver man, and his wife decided to play modern-day Bonnie and Clyde and rob a bank. They got all liquored up to get some courage and wandered into a bank armed with pistols and proceeded to go from teller to teller, filling their pillowcases with cash. There was only one problem. They left their masks on top of their head, forgetting to put them down over their face. Security cameras caught them, and they were arrested same day. Oh, and here's the other thing. They lived across the street from the bank and were recognized by the tellers by name.
Hey, heads up. Here comes your celebrity cheese.
All right, this is a tragic story to lead off with, but we always lead with the bad news. Robin Kay, an award-winning music supervisor on the TV show American Idol, was found, along with her husband, inside their L.A. home, dead of gunshot wounds to the head. Police say there was no sign of break-in, no sign of a robbery, and they're reviewing security footage to see if it leads to anything else. We'll keep you posted on it. Now that the general population has seen Superman, the reviews are not so good. People are complaining that Superman pretty much got the hell beat out of him throughout most of the movie, and it made him seem more human than a superhero. Now, I got to admit up front that, I kind of outgrew Superman when I was 8 years old. Not real big into the superhero stuff or Star Wars or anything like that. But, after I started playing sports when I was 8 years old, my heroes became pro athletes, not actors in tights. I happened to see a photo the other day from 1977 of men standing in line in their early 20s to see Star Wars. And I did the math. A man 22 years old in 1977 would be 70 years old today. And I can't help but think, gee, do they have their lightsaber still stashed in the closet? Do they take it out and play with it from time to time? At 70, I guess, I guess you could get away with that at 70. They would just think you're a little bit nuts in the head. All right, Rosie O'Donnell moved to Ireland to get away from Donald Trump in the United States, but you know what? She still can't shut the hell up about him. After Trump jokingly threatened to revoke her citizenship, she's been on all of the talk shows again complaining about Donald Trump. Rosie actually called him a tangerine Mussolini. The tangerine Mussolini, that's her new name for Donald Trump. Now we're waiting for the retort. And we'd like to suggest to Donald that maybe you refer to Rosie as a deflated Irish blimp. All right, Jennifer Aniston has a new boy toy to tickle her Twizzler. She's been seen hanging out with a hypnotist and self-help guru Jim Curtis, whoever that is. The couple were seen on a yacht hanging out off the coast of Mallorca playing Huggy Bear Kissy Face. Now, if you saw this guy, you would say, Jesus, really? That's who she's into now? You have to think that he hypnotized her to having the who's your daddy relations, because if she wasn't hypnotized, there's no way in hell she's doing this guy. So clearly, he's a Svengali. Remember Seinfeld? What was it Elaine said? No, he's a Spenjali. But it's Svengali. And are you aware that Britney Spears has now been single for 147 days?
Who gives a rat's ass?
Rat's Ass Podcast. Email from our Gmail.
All right, as you know, I do not read your email in advance. My producer, Fleabag, forwards me your name, where you're from, and rewrites them so I can read them rapid fire and on the fly. And no topic is ever off the table. That's impossible. Impossible to offend me. All right, Tom Z from Butte, Montana said, I met a girl who was 22 years younger than me, and we really hit it off. We've been out on a few dates, and this feels real to me. I'm having a little problem with me being 45 and her being 23. Am I nuts for pursuing a relationship with her? Tom, I have two words for you. Bill Belichick. All right, Cassie K. Winchester, Virginia said, I'm 33, have been with my boyfriend for 4 years. I'm ready to get married, but he's still dragging his damn feet. How long should I wait for this guy to make an honest woman of me? Well, you know what, Cassie? If it's, God, if you're not going to have kids, why rock the boat, man? I don't think people need to get married, really, if you're happy and you're living together, unless you bring kids into the picture. At that point, I think you want to make a push to tie the knot. But until then, just have a good time and get out alive. Cody B., Fort Myers, Florida, said, do you think alligator Alcatraz is a good idea or a bad idea? I love the idea. I like the idea because you got gators and snakes guarding it, and it saves us money so we can go look for other bad hombres. But, of course, the Democrats went down to Florida looking for a soul to steal, and they weren't happy. Are you surprised they weren't happy about alligator Alcatraz and the living conditions? I mean, it was fine when they had people coming in across the border illegally, and they kept them in tents and cages in 120-degree heat on pavement. Remember that? But that's okay because the Democrats were doing it. Now, because it's not them doing alligator Alcatraz, and it's such a beautiful idea, and they didn't think of it, of course they're poo-pooing it. Yes, I said the word poo-poo there. All right, Damien N., Lubbock, Texas. You have to share the piece about the white supremacist that posted it on your X feed. This crazy white liberal lady is nuts. Do you have it? Yeah, I do. Let me pull it up here on my phone because I think that was posted last night, as a matter of fact. Just let me go to my X feed. Do a little scrolling and spinning. Okay, yeah, here it is. Hang on a second. Oh, God, I went past it. Okay, here it is. This comes from Kimberly Parker Tamlin Vesper. There you go. 4 names. I wonder why she doesn't have an acronym. Anyway, she said, using big words is another form of white supremacy. Blacks who live in urban areas don't have the same access to education as whites. Well, they certainly did when I was growing up. This makes them less smart. See, to me, that's a racial comment right there. But she feels that because she's a liberal white person, she can explain it this way. She said, if you feel the need to communicate like you're a thesaurus, good chance you're probably a white supremacist. Yeah, I posted that. I reposted it because I thought it was just kind of, boy, it's really nice to be able to go through life as dumb as a bag of rubber dicks, All right, Derek M., Irvine, California. What is your assessment of the Lakers Summer League team? Are you concerned about Dalton Connect? He's had one good game so far. I think the deal with Dalton is this, Derek, is as soon as the season ended, he didn't take a break. They say he's been working out daily 3 times a day. He's trying to do the Kobe Bryant workout. I mean, he's not Kobe. I think that you need to take some downtime, and he hasn't done it yet. So I think once the summer league is over, hopefully he'll go get a checkup from the neck up, relax, ease his weary mind, let his body heal up, and then be ready for camp. But yeah, I mean, the way he's playing right now, I see Dalton Knecht probably playing in the G League this year. All right, Lily F., Bristol, England says, me and my friends really enjoy your podcast. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Said, we want to know if you're ever going to go live on TikTok or YouTube since you're on both platforms. Highly unlikely. Highly unlikely. You know, we've thought about this, Lily, and here's the thing. I'm more comfortable behind the microphone. That's where I spent my entire career. There were 2 years that I did TV sports, and the thing about TV is people recognize you. When you're just behind the microphone, you can pretty much go and hear people talk about your show. I used to love to go into grocery stores and hopefully somebody was talking about the radio show and I'd listen to what they would say. And they didn't know I was eavesdropping. That was kind of fun for me. And I also watch these guys on TikTok, for an example. They're DJs and there's guys who do radio shows and you're just watching them do their thing. I don't find anything entertaining about watching me speak into a microphone and pressing buttons. I just don't. So unless we find something that has really good entertainment value, highly unlikely that we'll go live on YouTube and TikTok. All right, if you have any questions, observations, or comments, send them to my producer. His name is Fleabag at ratsasspodcast@gmail.com. The more salacious and outrageous, the better. And like I said, it's impossible to offend me, so send them all to me pronto. We need some emails from you guys.
Rat's Ass Podcast. Head trauma.
All right, let's get into the head trauma. We're playing Total Recall. I gave you 4 events. Did you put them in the order they happened, first to last? Let's see if you got them right. All right, the events were the fall of the Berlin Wall. The Philadelphia 76ers beat the Los Angeles Lakers in the NBA Finals. Platoon wins the Oscar for Best Picture. And Madonna and Sean Penn get married. Married? Yes, married. Did you say 76ers, Madonna and Penn, Platoon, and the Berlin Wall? If that was your answer,
Yeah, baby.
congratulations, you got it right. But if you missed it, go see a doctor about your head trauma and get well soon. And that means I got to get going because today I'm taking a seminar on the 101 uses for Fruit Loops today. Oh, I find fun stuff to get into, don't I? But I do have one more thing for you. Did you know the letter Q is the only letter in the alphabet that doesn't appear in a state's name? Does not appear in the state's name, the letter Q.
What about Quaker State?
Well, that's Pennsylvania, but that's a slogan. You know, that's not really a name. That's kind of a lube, Alexa.
K-Y is a lube.
Yes, it is. And, well, let me ask, is that what you use on your jackhammer Fakey D?
I don't use a lube on my jackhammer Fake D. Butthead.
Well, you know what? I just happen to have some audio here, gang. I promised you once upon a time we were going to get back at Alexa, and I just have her using her jackhammer to sexy music. Ooh, yeah. Ooh, Alexa, look at you go. Is that on high speed?
You're such a jagoff. Do your shout-outs to Rat Nation Psycho.
Gotcha. All right, welcome to Rat Nation. Jake Dunley, Lake Havasu, Arizona. Amanda DiGregorio in McKeesport, Pennsylvania. David Strongley in Norman, Oklahoma. And to the Resistance, those of you who email us but haven't joined Rat Nation yet. Deborah C. in Durango, Colorado. Summer K. in San Luis Obispo, California. Hardy D. from Dunbar, West Virginia. And let's see, around the world to listeners in Frankfurt, Germany. Kuwait City, Kuwait. And I can't read this. What is it, Fleabag? Oh, Jakarta, Indonesia. Got it.
Now's your chance to be one of the few and the loud. Join Rat Nation at ratsasspodcast.com. Membership does have its rewards, you know.
All right, that's going to do it for this episode of the Rat's Ass Podcast.
Does your ass feel numb?
Yes, it does, as a matter of fact. A little sticky, too. All right, be sure to check out ratsasspodcast.com to connect with us on the socials, listen to podcasts, join Rat Nation, and read the blog. It is loaded with current events, pop culture, music, concert info, the radio wars, sports, our Q&A, Battle of the Sexes, plus the Dumbass Awards for 2025 so far. We'll do this again on Friday, July 18th. Take care of each other, and thanks for listening to the Rat's Ass Podcast.
The conversation continues between podcasts on X and ratsasspodcast.com. ratsasspodcast.com.
Does your ass feel numb?